I do think that when you mentioned earlier film, this great film, Chicago, that everybody's excited about, or indeed the great musicals, that they are training audiences to enjoy watching a story that unfolds, that always ends happily, and that always has certain emotional buttons that press the audience and they react accordingly. Now, you could be training the audience to go on going to musicals, or you could be saying we need to train audiences to go to the theatre with a much more morally fluid eye, so that they decide what they watch on the theatre. They do not have their buttons pressed, but they choose where the buttons are being pressed in their own lives. And so I do think there's two different types of audiences at the moment. The movies have absolutely taken the audience because they've, with great aplomb, sledgehammered our imaginations into watching these giant dreamscapes. And the musicals in part do the same. They use very powerful sound, music which is so basic and atavistic in our systems. But the theatre I think we're talking about, which is the theatre about this element of cultural preoccupation, is a much more delicate animal to train audiences towards in a time when we all work too hard, and so we want a bit of leisure in our leisure time. We have to want to know more than we already know. We have to want to ask questions about whether we're right to feel happy or unhappy, or whether our unhappiness has any other reply in the universe. And these are questions that we're being, by governments actually, orientated away from. We're asking ourselves only, do you feel okay? Have you got enough money in your pocket? Have a good time. But in fact, of course, there are all sorts of odd areas around the edges of our existence that need to be replied to, and the theatre is a wonderful place for replying to them. But we have to want to go. So I don't know how we train except to take children and make children go, and so they have a habit. We're a habit forming.